What? You mean WandaVision has concluded already? Anyways, today, let's paint Wanda from Marvel United.
That the entirety of the cosmos is accessible through each and every individual's mind, connecting to the great mind, the great spirit.
Welcome back to the channel, collectors. It feels so good to be able to paint and show you guys some tips and tricks of how you can improve your miniature painting skills. Today I'm really proud to show you guys my latest work, which is Scarlet Witch from Marvel United. So in this series, I'll be painting the Marvel United miniatures in under 90 minutes. We'll also be using the Big Child Creatives painted miniatures as references for our Painted in 90 Minute challenge. However, unlike Wanda, we have not lost our vision. Bad joke. So after this video, we'll be painting Vision in the WandaVision poster style, which is a really cool idea I thought about and you guys don't want to miss that. So let's prepare these colors right here to paint Wanda up. You need to prepare these colors, so get them out ready right now. Alright, so you got the colors, and let's get started. So since we're going to be painting this miniature in 90 minutes, we're going to start off with the base coats. As with the base coats, we're going to do it really quickly and as neatly as possible. At this point in time, I'll be working on the shadow colors, so expect the miniature to be just a little bit dark and a little bit dull. Alright, so for the first color, we'll be using Games Workshop Mephiston Red to base coat the cloak of Scarlet Witch. At this point in time, don't need to be too neat, just make sure you dilute the paint slightly and get smooth coats. So we're also going to use the same color for her boots and her headdress. Okay, so now we are done with the reds. We're going to move on to the next color soon. I'm going to be creating some purples. I'm using Games Workshop Nagaroth Night right here. And these purples will be the shade color for the pink magenta trims on her dress and her cloak. I'm also going to be using this color for the bindings in the front and the trims of the tiara. Oh, Magneto's daughter is starting to look like Magneto already. Okay, so I'm going to use a bit of corn red mixed in with scale 75 basic flesh, and this will be the base color for the skin tone. Okay, forgive the hand blocking here. This is just the base coating stage. You might want to do more than one coat of this so that you get a nice opaque layer. Gonna use chocolate brown to base coat the hair. Let's take note that right now I'm just trying to base coat as neatly as possible so that the subsequent stages I will have a lot less cleanup. This is how I've done this entire paint job in under 90 minutes. So now that the base coating is done, let's move on to placing the areas that are exposed to light. So at this point in time, I don't recommend that you blend any of the transitions because blending can be done really quickly and very easily in the later stages. Right now, we just need to focus on the position of the light. So if you need any reference images of where to place the lights and how to place the lights, why not check on the reference image we have right here, painted by Big Child Creatives. The link for the painted galleries will be in the show notes below. So checking on the reference image, let's head on to the layering process right now. Okay, so now we're going to start placing in some of the light areas. I'm going to start off with a face. So right now I'm going to be using pure basic flesh from scale 75 and referring to the reference image from Big Child Creatives, I'm going to have a hard edge on the left side of her face. Also using my own knowledge of where to place the lights, I'm going to be placing in some soft transitions on her cheeks and her jawline to accentuate that she's actually quite slim because the sculpt is making her look a little bit plump. Okay, so just adding in a little bit of Nagorov Night into the mix and adding a bit of chocolate brown into the previous mix. We're going to be creating a blush and shadow color. I'm going to be using this color to deepen the shadows on the left side of her face. This is where the heart transition I was speaking about previously existed. I know, it looks a little bit unnatural now, but you gotta just trust in the process and this will look fine once the miniature is complete. So I'm gonna be mixing in some Wild Rider red into Mephiston red. Start painting in her cloaks. These will be the highlights and this is the result. Okay, so just placing in these colors on the upper edge and remembering that there are areas that are hard transitions, such as under the breast and under the sleeves of the miniature. Okay, so right here we're going to be using a bit of pink coral to be painting in some of the magenta. I found that this color was a little bit too desaturated, so what I did was I added in a little bit of Chimera magenta to really boost up the saturation. Okay, so after several layers, what you can see is we have established pretty opaque coat, and this is what you will see. Okay, placing in a bit more pink coral and a bit of pale flesh from scale 75 to do the edge highlights. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in pale flesh into the flesh mix that we did previously, adding in a little bit of corn red. I'm trying to be creating a reddish skin tone, and this will be used to highlight some areas such as under the eyes where it catches the most light because of the cheeks, the forehead and the nose. So notice that the paint dries a little bit darker, so don't worry that the paint initially appears a little bit too bright. So mixing in a little bit of red. I'm trying to create a redder tone so that I can create some reflected light underneath her cheeks. This is the red light reflecting off her hand magic or a red color cloak. Many ways to interpret this. Just placing on some individual highlights quickly for the hands to show some form. So moving on, I'm going to add a little bit of Blood Angels red from the contrast range into the pale flesh, and I'm going to use this as a very bright edge highlight to really accentuate the form of the cloak as well as the other red areas. You can see the miniature is coming along very nicely right now, and this is all without blending. That's why at the start I mentioned try not to do any of the blending, because blending isn't really essential, maybe until the later stages or if you're going for competition. If you are going to play on the tabletop like myself, I think this level of miniature painting would impress many people already. Okay, just doing up the edge highlights, and yep.
So now that we have placed the lights, let's go on to the details. So the details are really important here. I'm going to be focusing on the eyes, the pupils, the lips, and the small little blue light that Big Chow Creatives have very aptly placed on the miniature. This is where I will put down my workhorse brush and pick up my Da Vinci's Maestro Series 35, because I'm going to be painting in a lot more details and I want a lot more precision. If you're curious about the workhorse brush, just stay tuned because I'm going to be sharing a lot more details with you guys in the very near future. So let's get started with the details right now.
Alright, so I've refined some of the lines and cleaned up some of the issues,
such as the eyes, and right now I'm going to be placing in the pupils. The pupils I'm going to be using black plus Mephiston red so that there's a little bit of tinge of red on her eyes. I'm also going to be using the same color to darken down her upper lip to make her mouth look a little bit more refined. These are some of the tips that you can try out so that you can add more definition to your miniatures. I'm going to be using Vallejo model color dark gray right here to create some highlights on the dark black leggings that she's wearing. And overall the hair, I've also done it in orange brown from Vallejo model color. I've also added in some blue highlights from scale 75. It's Adriatic blue if I'm not wrong. And yeah, this is Scarlet Witch almost complete in 90 minutes already. I think she looks pretty good, and this was made a lot easier because we have reference images from Big Child Creatives. Makes it so that we don't need to use so much of our brains. Place the blues under the thighs, under the cloak, and then use some stone grey from Vallejo model color to just create the stone texture on the ground, the rubble that she's standing on. And this miniature is very near complete. So I hope you found this video somewhat useful, because yeah, this is our foray in trying to produce better videos. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with what we are achieving so far, and learning new techniques, how to use reference images to make our miniature paint jobs faster and better too.
And whoa, that was 90 minutes and I finished painting Scarlet Witch from Marvel United. This is the result, and I hope you like what you see. So next up, I'm going to be painting Vision in the WandaVision poster style. So please look forward to that video, and it's coming up next. So remember collectors, if you consistently do this, about one miniature a day, in 2 weeks you're going to have a fully painted set of miniatures so you can play fully painted. So if you want to support the channel even further, why not head on to our Patreon. Links will be in the show notes below, where you can get a whole array of miniature painting materials so that you can improve your miniature painting. So we're going to be painting Black Panther next, because many of you collectors have selected it to be the next miniature painted. Why not let me know in the comments below what other Marvel United miniatures you'd like to see me paint. And I hope to see you in the next video where I'm going to be painting up Vision. See you guys!